This is Europe. So is this. And this is too. This is Europe, the place many of us call home. In 1957, 6 countries laid the groundwork for what would become the European Union, a trade and political union of 28 countries with the goal to further cooperation to ease trade and simplify life for its 510 million citizens. Today, though, the Union is under constant criticism for its alleged overregulation of everything. From laws about the curvature of cucumbers to the banning of vacuuming machines with too powerful motors, for critics, nothing can be absurd enough. With all the criticism and misinformation being spread, it's hard to be enthusiastic about the European Union sometimes, and even harder to know, what has the European Union ever done for me? Well, as it turns out, a whole lot. Starting off fundamentally, the European Union provides peace. For centuries, the European powers kept fighting wars against each other, until after 2 world wars, large parts of the continent lay in ashes and millions had died. Since then, Europe has seen an unprecedented period of peace for 75 years. The European peace is the longest lasting modern peace since the one created by the Roman Empire over 2,000 years ago. This so called Roman peace, though, was achieved through domination, while the so called European peace was achieved through clever statesmanship, the growing together of countries, and the growing together of Europe as a whole. With this peace comes freedom. To be exact, the 4 fundamental freedoms of the EU. Since 1986, this regulation has stated that all goods, services, capital, and persons can move without restrictions within the EU. About this, John will tell you more. John is a political blogger and anti-Brexit activist based in Berlin, Germany.
Europe impacts teenagers' lives in all kinds of different ways. It gives you the opportunity to go and study all across Europe, the opportunity of freedom of movement. You can go and live in any other European country as an EU citizen without requiring any extra paperwork in order to do so. It manages to make sure that when you travel, you have a right to healthcare, that when you use your mobile phone abroad, you won't be charged enormous amounts to use it there. It does all kinds of practical things like that to improve our lives and allow us to live more internationally.
The European Union is working hard to make all EU member states equal in many areas, like infrastructure and social services. In other areas, though, this has already been achieved. For example, you can be sure that an apple you buy in the supermarket in Germany is of very similar quality to that of an apple bought in Spain. Other great opportunities for young people are also afforded by and through the European Union. One part of this is the European Student Exchange Scheme Erasmus, in which Manuel, a former EU Commission employee turned podcaster based in Berlin, has first-hand experiences from and will now tell you about.
Most of you considering going abroad, going into another European country to do an apprenticeship or to study in another city in Europe, and that's also possible and funded by the European Union. If you ever have heard of the Erasmus Plus program, that is the program that allows you to go abroad. It will give you some money to get another impression of Europe's culture, Europe's universities, but also Europe's schools, because Erasmus Plus applies for pupils, students, and even for elderly people who want to go abroad and get another impression of European culture and European education.
Thanks also to the Bologna process, which involves the pan-European recognition of university degrees and transferability of semesters, studying within, or rather across Europe, has never been as easy as it is now. Now, even outside the framework of school and university, the European Union can help you gain practical experiences in different areas of work life. One part of this is the European Solidarity Corps, which Marin, a College of Europe, which is a European master's degree program alumni, can tell you more about.
The European Solidarity Corps, when after school you would like to help people in other countries to explore them as well, but also be working, you can sign up for the Solidarity Corps and be in Europe, be an active European citizen, and connect your work, your help with insights to enrich your cultural experience, your intercultural experience, maybe learn a new language or just be more profound in the language you already learned or can speak.
Now, the European Solidarity Corps is a platform slash a program where you as a teenager can register, and it involves a wide range of social services which you can commit to. For example, for your next summer break, you might as well go to Mallorca and help build a fence around a farm there. In fact, youth really is a huge topic for the European Union, and this is demonstrated by people like Alessandro Senesi, an official with the European Ministry, which they call Directorate Generals, for Education, Youth, Sport, and Culture. They are the ones that put union funds to use and lay out 5-year plans on what is going to be funded and what new programs they will create and come up with.
I think we would like better to speak about what we'll spend in the future, because the money which is being spent now is coming to an end quite soon, because the current program cycle is about to reach its end. For the future, we have proposed a very ambitious budget for all activities for young people, and there is consensus to indeed increase this budget. So we will have probably for the youth part of Erasmus Plus, if our proposal is accepted, 3 billion euros for the next cycle, and this will indeed enable to support many more projects. But this is only the part of let's say activities for young people that we run ourselves. But indeed we collaborate with other services and other youth funding schemes that also benefit indirectly for young people.
But while all these are amazing and great opportunities, many of them don't actually just apply to young people. Investment is a major factor of the European strategy, and that also includes investment in regions for example, tourism. This ensures that your stay wherever in the European Union is at the highest of standards, and that Europe's nature especially is maintained for coming generations of Europeans and also non-European guests to enjoy. Or, as Manuel puts it,
because Europe invests in the regions, not just in the capitals.
So, really, many things, while beneficial to youth, benefit everybody. Europe is for every one of its 500 million citizens. A great example of this is the new data protection legislation called GDPR. This regulation, which, while of course being far from perfect, is the world's most advanced policy on the protection of individual data. Someone who can tell you more in depth about this is John Lisney. He's a youth policy coordinator and strategist at the European Youth Forum, an NGO that represents other NGOs before the European Union.
It's not perfect, as you just said. It is often quite cumbersome. It's quite annoying when you get in all these emails about changes in privacy and terms and conditions of different websites, when you have to always accept that your cookies are being used by different websites. And it's definitely not a perfect law, but it's the best thing that in the world currently to basically protect our data against those big tech companies that are using it to make huge profits. And this, you can see that it is a very respected law. When Mark Zuckerberg, for example, was in testifying to Congress in the US, he said that he welcomed it, as Facebook welcomed it, and it should be implemented across the world.
In a globalized, changing world, a strong Europe is the best insurance for keeping our way of life. The European Union is the future of the European continent, says Christopher. There are many challenges that the nation-state in its current form cannot tackle alone. It has overstayed its time. Now is the time for unity and pan-national agreements. The European Union has done so much, and yet there is still so much left to be done. As one of the world's largest democracies, it also needs you and all of us to go out and vote for the Europe we want to see in the future. Go out there and support what you think is right. Vote for your party, get involved, and shape future decisions. The next European elections will take place in 2024. Eligibility for voting starts at 18. Use the opportunities the Union provides you with, because what it really all comes down to is that Europe is our home. Whether you were born in Romania, Germany, or France, we all have a responsibility to build and explore the future of our Europe. Thank you.